Joining me to discuss Conan's big move and more are Kat Greenleaf, host of WNBC's Talk Stoop with Kat Greenleaf, Andy Cohen, host Watch What Happens live on Bravo, and television and radio host Egypt Sherrod. Okay, Kat, Conan was widely expected to go to Fox, and now he's going to TBS. I mean, that's a big surprise, isn't it?
It is. You know, two of my very best friends work on each of the shows, Conan's show and Lopez, right now both on TBS. Neither one of them said a single word to me, so I believe that nobody knew anything, or this was an 11th hour deal, or they were all just sworn to such tight secrecy. But my girls are pretty good to me and would have told me if this had been in the works for a while.
Yeah, but with its younger demographic, isn't cable better for him, actually?
It is. I mean, all he now has to do is better than George Lopez was doing in his show, and George Lopez will now follow him. And according to Bill Carter at the New York Times, who's been covering this story for a while, the late night wars, this all went down in the last week and a half, which is really amazing. And that the Fox thing was fairly dead, and it was not moving along because of the syndication deals that the local Fox stations have going.
This turned out to be a blessing in disguise for Conan and for us, to be honest with you, because cable TV now, especially late night cable TV, hey, it's where it's at. And this way, we'll get to see the unadulterated Conan. You know, let's face it, on television, you know, traditional networks, he's a little watered down. He'll be able to really let loose on this.
Well, listen, I have a live late night cable show, and it is amazing what you can get away with on live late night at midnight.
Yeah, well, we get away with some things here, too.
Yes, you do.
What I think is so remarkable, it's like a Greek tragedy, right? Like, you know, first it was Leno bumping Conan, now we have Conan bumping Lopez.
Yes.
Who's next, Joy Behar?
No, I don't know. I'm not bumping anybody.
No, we'll be outside with picket signs, Joy.
That was an amicable, you know, George Lopez called Conan and said, I want to do this. This will be good for TBS. I'm going to get you as a lead-in. So it's not a Jay situation where he was going to be bumping Conan back.
But then Conan had to give up his slot to Jay. He didn't get his blessing there. There was no blessings there.
No, but what I'm saying is there's no animosity from what's being reported between George Lopez and Conan.
Right. Well, he's going to have a great lead-in.
Yes.
He's going to have Conan. Yeah, I mean, everybody wins
for everybody.
there.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All
The
right.
only one that doesn't win is Jay Leno, because he's still looked at as the bad guy, poor guy there.
You know, I don't think so. I think that has stopped.
And his numbers are really good.
It wasn't his fault.
His numbers are great.
Yes.
Everybody's back on board. I did an interview with Jay when I did his show a couple of weeks ago.
It was good.
And he said the same thing he said before. It's business. It's just business. It's not personal. Nobody died. Okay, anyway, let's move on to Tiger Woods. He didn't win the Masters, but fortunately for Tiger, that's merely a side note to the spotlight-grabbing weirdness of Jim Carrey's Twitter page. Over the weekend, he wrote, "Tiger Woods owes nothing to anyone but himself. To please his father, he gave up his childhood and his freedom in the world. That's enough. No wife is blind enough to miss that much infidelity. Elin had to be a willing participant on the ride for whatever reason." Kat, doesn't that sound like he's calling out Elin for Tiger's cheating a little bit here?
Yeah, he does. And whatever, Jim Carrey, you leave Jenny McCarthy and suddenly you're the expert on how to make things right. I thought it was a very bizarre thing coming out of his tweeting thumbs there. And here's the deal. And we've talked about Tiger many times, right?
Many times, yes.
Maybe Elin decided to look the other way for the good of her family. Maybe she didn't want to do what Hollywood people so often do and just throw in the towel and walk off. They have children together. They have a life to protect.
Are you saying that maybe she did know about all the sexting and everything and all these women?
I'm starting to think she did.
So you're kind of agreeing with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't tweet it out to the world when I've just had a bad breakup myself.
And who's Jim Carrey to talk about relationships, considering what he's going through right now? But the reality is, as women, we have a gut instinct that tells us when something's not right, when someone is cheating, and when something smells fishy. So I think she definitely, you know, knew something was going on, but, you know, being that it's on the cover of all of these newspapers, she was forced to deal with it, unfortunately.
Well,
he said what everybody was thinking.
Jim Carrey, just to get you straight on this, he tweeted about his peanut butter sandwich afterwards because apparently his people came and said to him,
I bet they did.
Maybe celebrities should not be tweeting.
Step away from the BlackBerry.
It's the great oversharing. It's the great oversharing. I love tweeting. And and by the way, I love that tweet. Nobody had said that, and so big deal. I mean, he wasn't saying what Tiger did was right.
Well,
all he was saying is, could this have been much of a surprise to his wife? I mean, could it have been a crazy surprise?
Right. Okay, after the tournament, Tiger said he was going to take a break from golf to reevaluate things. Listen.
I wanted to win this tournament, and as the week got on, I kept hitting the ball worse. I hit better on Friday, but after that, it was not very good. I'm going to take a little time off and kind of reevaluate things.
Okay, he was a little off his game. Do you think he was too anxious?
I think what happened here is, you know, Tiger's been in the forefront of the media since he was a child. This entire scandal has knocked him off of his game, literally and figuratively. And, you know, listen, he did phenomenal. I thought he did phenomenal. You know, everybody said he did phenomenal, but it is human nature when the whole world is looking at you to fumble.
And it's
going to happen.
He's not done well. You know, I mean, his career has had some peaks and valleys. It's not like it just because everything bad was happening.
Yeah.
He came in fourth, which, by the way, is no slouchy spot.
But maybe he should go back to seeing these other women. That makes his game better.
Well, it clearly gave him peace. And
you know,
release.
John Kennedy, you know, was a great president, and he had 1 million girlfriends.
Watching the Masters reminded me how boring golf is.
Yeah.
We've been talking about Tiger for so long. And then I watched yesterday. I was like, wait a minute, I forgot how boring it is.
I do think maybe he needs a longer vacation. You know, just some time to get in touch with self again.
Vacation.
How long was it really? I mean, he was dodging newspapers and paparazzi everywhere. That wasn't a real vacation.
Sex hab.
Yeah, right.
Sex hab.
Which a lot of people don't believe it even exists, sexual
I agree.
addiction. No, people don't even believe it anymore. It's just so ridiculous.
It's
Only rich guys are, you know, sexually addicted. The rest are just a bunch of dogs. You know what I mean? It's And finally, John Gosselin says
Speaking of dogs.
he is definitely, it was a nice segue, definitely open to co-starring with his ex-wife, Kate Gosselin, on another TV project. Who knew he was even available? The guy cannot get arrested. This after he announced last week he's suing her for full custody of their 8 kids. Okay.
Of course, this is big headline news that he's saying he's definitely open to the idea that is not going to present itself to him. TLC announced last week that they're doing another show with Kate Gosselin without him.
Right.
She's on Dancing with the Stars.
Twist of Kate.
Right, a twist of Kate.
A book coming out. I hate to say it, but she's like the smart and sane one
Exactly.
at the moment.
She's coming on my show this week. Anything you want me to ask her?
Well, yes, who does her face?
Who does her hair?
Who doesn't do her face?
Who does her hair?
Who doesn't do her face?
Bottom line is, his 15 minutes of fame are up, and her second stint has just begun, and so he wants to ride the bandwagon. That's it.
The extensions on
But
the
I mean,
lady.
why are these two famous again? Could someone remind me again, why are they famous?
For spitting out several babies.
For having a bunch of babies and also fighting on the air. If they didn't fight and were not dysfunctional, they would not be famous, right?
Makes for good
That's
reality.
right, but I think it's our fault. I think we, the viewing public, have made this monster. We continue to subscribe to this monster, and we're all going to watch, you know, 1 Kate plus 8. So it's our fault.
But you know what? First he calls Kate an absentee mother because she did Dancing with the Stars. Now he wants to be back on TV himself. I mean, is he a little bit mental?
Yes. Yes, I think he's addicted. I think he's probably addicted to it a little bit. I think he needs some money.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting with Kate Gosselin is that she became famous as being a woman who had all these kids, and people loved to watch her try to raise the kids and emasculate her husband and see if she could juggle it all. Now she's a celebrity. She's on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
And I don't know if her new role as a celebrity is what people want to see. I think people fell in love with her because she was a mom who was relatable, and I think the further
Did they fall in love with her? It seems to me that they were attacking her for yelling at the husband and yelling at the children.
I think at the beginning, people enjoyed her and enjoyed watching her as a mom.
We love reality
not that
TV
anymore.
because of the train wreck that it is.
That's right.
So I think we were addicted to watching the train wreck.
Right, and then if it clears up and if they all get along, it's going to be boring and their show's going to be canceled.
No,
so
but
they got to keep it coming.
Well, I'm a little worried about her, and I'm worried about that Octomom, too, that other nut job.
What if they move in together and share expenses?
So, I mean, she's got also all those kids, and she has no visible means of support that I can see.
True.
You know?
She's going to get a show.
And this
She's a
one at
very
least is
weird
smart.
laugh as
Kate
well.
is not. Well, the other one, Octomom, is not dumb. She's just cuckoo.
Off.
Right.
Isn't she going through foreclosure anyway?
Foreclosure, you know where. Thanks again, guys. Up next, Tennessee woman.